This is the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. We have assembled the world's finest sports and trivia dorks to prove once and for all that we are just as bad at this as we were at sports.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, sports trivia for those of us who rode the pine. I'm your host, Josh, and today's game will be pitting the Benchwarmer team of Eric and Scott versus Benchwarmer Matt with newcomer Tim Simplot. Welcome to the bench, Tim. Why don't you take a minute?
Thanks, Josh. Great to be here. I'm a big fan of the show, and I'm honored to be a part of it today. Not sure how well I will do, but it's going to be fun trying.
All right, Tim. Why don't you take a minute? Let us know where you're from, what teams you root for, and anything else you'd like to share.
I live in South St. Paul, Minnesota, and full disclosure, I'm friends with Josh and Matt. I've known them for years. Favorite team currently is University of Minnesota Gopher Hockey, which I'm repping their jersey right now. That's my all-time favorite team. I like the Minnesota teams. Classic teams, my favorite would be the Phi Slamma Jamma teams of the 80s of University of Houston, and also the 1991 UNLV Runnin' Rebs basketball team.
Grandmama.
Yeah.
Welcome again. Matt, how are you doing? And let us know what your and Tim's team name is going to be. Any power washing today?
No power washing today. No,
Okay.
no. We are successfully ending with the temperature changing the power washing aspect of this podcast for the next few months. But super busy with the move. I don't know if I've announced it on the podcast or not, but everything is coming up Omaha again because my wife and family and I are moving to Omaha. So we're cleaning out the house, decluttering, getting ready to put on the market here in the next couple of weeks. So I was busy with that. So, and go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say, hopefully we, when you're there, we'll start getting some more than one downloads in Nebraska. So
we better. Dang right, my family members down there need to start downloading the pod. Come on. But both Tim and I are fans of Keith Jackson, both the announcer and the tight end who used to play for the Packers. And he posted the other day that on the Wikipedia page of Keith Jackson, the tight end, that he's not related to or vice versa, related to the announcer. We thought that was funny. So our team name is going to be Not Related to Keith Jackson.
All right, Not Related to Keith Jackson. Eric and Scott, how are you guys doing? And let us know what your guys' team name is.
I'm good, Josh. Tim, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. I think this is going to be a lot of fun for you guys. We'll see how it is for me. No, it's always a good time. I'm good. I'm just excited football's back. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow for week 1, and that's pretty much it. I'll throw it over to Eric. He can give you our team.
Hat update. Which LA team are you repping there?
It's the Dodgers hat. It's just when I was in LA last week, I bought like 6 Dodgers hats, all in just like different colors. So
what is it, the bill? What is that color? It's like a tie-dye or something?
The bill's like a camo. It's like a
orange.
Camo orange. Yeah. So I wear a lot of orange. It's my favorite color. So I needed a hat that kind of went with them. So
is it because that word rhymes with a lot of other words?
It rhymes with porridge and door hinge if you say it correctly.
So Scott, did we just become best friends? That's been my favorite color my whole life.
Do you want to go do karate in the basement?
There we go. Get this. I haven't watched it yet. It is on my list, but I haven't watched it yet.
No, okay. I'm okay with you not watching the Mighty Ducks movies, but that movie you have to watch.
I already committed to that. I will watch it.
He did.
I'm still not. I'm boycotting it. I don't care.
We don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
For people that don't know, we're talking about Gone with the Wind.
Frankly, my dear, we just became best friends.
A lot of karate in the basement in that movie. It's good.
Eric, I'm done. Take it over.
Don't take a sip of beer before Eric tells a joke.
I'm good. I'm actually excited. I get to make my pregnant wife wait in line to pre-order Xbox when it's in like a week, because I'm going to be at work and she's not going to be. So, is that okay? I don't know if that's okay. I think
you're going to find out when she leaves you.
As long as I got an Xbox, she can go wherever the hell she wants. So anyway, Scott and I haven't teamed up in a while, so we're going to go away from our old team name and came up with a new one today. And I was thinking the other day of a lot of random celebrities. So our team name today is going to be, what's Daniel Stern up to?
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to? Hopefully he's fine,
Alive.
and healthy, and alive, and stays that way.
No. Here we go.
That's my fault if it happens. Eric asked me for a random D-list celebrity from my childhood. So I said,
Yeah, first
He's probably living well off of the Wonder Year residuals.
he threw out Jim Varney first. I'm like, he's dead. Why would you even?
Well, at least you're safe. You're safe if you.
You didn't ask me for a one that's living. You just asked
I
me.
love the Jim Varney reference. That's awesome.
I know what Jim Varney's up to right now.
I love the
He's
Ernest
actually
movies,
down
man.
to about 6 feet under.
I was gonna say 6 feet under. Yeah.
Oof.
All right, let's get this game underway.
We'll be starting off with the tailgate to warm up the teams. This will be followed by 4 quarters of play, each with a different trivia style. The styles of quarters 1 through 3 will change from show to show, and I will explain them as we go along. Like any good sporting event, we will have a halftime show after the second quarter with entertainment questions pertaining to sports. And in the fourth quarter, our teams will wager from the points they've accumulated to see who are today's clipboard captains, to be honored like the true benchwarmers they are. All right, let's get this game underway.
It's time for the tailgate, consisting of 3 warm-up questions worth 10 points each. Today's tailgate has a theme. 4 times in the 1980s.
Oh,
Question 1. What player led the NBA in rebounds for 4 seasons in the 1980s?
Is that what you know it is, Tim? Or is that
that's
your
just my
thought?
best guess.
I think that's probably my best guess too. So should we check in
Yeah,
with that?
we'll check in with that one.
All right, so not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. So what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
Eric, I don't think it's Rodman because he didn't come in the league till like 86, 87, and he was coming off the bench at first in Detroit. So I don't think he would have had enough minutes to lead the league.
Okay, well, you threw out Moses Malone. I mean, it makes sense how he played most of the 80s, right?
Yeah, he played most of the 80s. I mean, there's Kareem, but I don't really remember him leading and rebounding.
No, I mean, other guys would be like Barkley, but again, he was more mid to late.
Yeah, I don't think it would have been Barkley. I was trying to think of anyone from the Celtics, but they didn't have like a guy that was grabbing, 11, 12 rebounds a game.
Wouldn't be like Bill Laimbeer, would it?
Maybe, but again, those Pistons are tough because like they all split playing time. Like
I say let's go with Moses Malone. I don't think we're gonna get somebody better than that.
All right.
I mean, he was dominant. So
yeah, we're gonna check in with Moses Malone.
All right, so what's Daniel Stern up to is checking in with Moses Malone, not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
So I'm not sure if this answer is right, but I just remember the 80s basketball because that's back when I really followed the NBA. The Sixers were one of my favorite teams with Dr. J and Andrew Toney and Bobby Jones and this guy, Moses Malone. So we checked in with Moses Malone.
All right, points all around because the correct answer is Moses Malone. Bill Laimbeer, Charles Oakley, and Hakeem Olajuwon each led the league twice in the decade.
I should say the late Moses Malone. One of only 2 NBA MVPs who are deceased.
I heard that the other day. That was in Triviality, wasn't it? Who's the other one?
Was it Cousy or
He just died this spring.
Yeah, Bob Cousy.
NBA MVPs who were passed away? No, it was Kobe.
Oh yeah, Kobe. You're right.
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
way to bring us down already, there, Matt. Thanks.
Yeah.
How much for the energy in the room? Moving on to question 2.
And by the way, I just ran over a puppy today too.
Oh, jeez.
Question 2. What player led Major League Baseball in batting average for 4 seasons in the 1980s?
Yeah, let's do that, Tim.
All right, we're checked in.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson's checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys can talk it out. Jeez. Boy.
Yeah, it definitely could be Mr. Pinetar, George Brett. Just trying to think of other guys that were up there seemingly every year, like the Molitors and those guys.
So he said 4 times?
Yeah.
4 times. because once again, the theme is 4 times in the 1980s.
Are you sure it's not Gwyn?
4 times seems like a lot for him in the 80s. He didn't come in until mid-80s. I mean, it could be Gwyn. He came up in like 84. So, I mean, he's got the years. It's just...
Well, where I'm caught up is it's... Because they give one out to AL and NL.
Right.
And if he's combining both of them, I feel like Gwyn's going to lose a couple of the ones that he won.
That right. I mean, yeah, that kind of throws it off for a lot of people.
So then I think I'm better with Boggs.
You think so? 4.
Yeah. If I had to pick between one or the other, I would pick Boggs for this. But I'm not. Again, that's more or less a coin flip than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we're going to check in with Wade Boggs.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checking in with Wade Boggs. Not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
Yeah, we had a similar debate, but we didn't really go back and forth too much. He said right off the bat Wade Boggs, and I said Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn's rookie year was like 81 because he was a couple of years before Puckett, and Puckett was 83. So, yeah, so we settled with Wade Boggs, though.
Once again, points all around. The correct answer is Wade Boggs. Tony Gwynn was the only other player to lead the league for more than one season in the decade. He did it twice. George Brett did in 1980. Kirby Puckett did 1 year. There was a couple others with 1 year. But Wade Boggs pretty much consistently was at the top in the 80s.
And I feel like he was always handsomely in the lead in the AL.
I know that as a Puckett fan, I was always, annoyed that Wade Boggs was, 5 or 10 points ahead of him all the time. But
I remember seeing a stat once. I don't remember the actual stat, but how many times he had popped out to the infield. It was ungodly low. He just never popped out to the infield.
All right, moving on to question 3. What running back led the NFL in rushing yards for 4 seasons in the 1980s?
Yeah, you're right, Nat. So let's go with
That second one we went with that we were talking about? Yeah. Okay, we're checking, Josh.
Yep.
Josh.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson's checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
I don't know, Eric. Eric Dickerson was the first guy that came to mind.
So between like 1998 and like maybe early 80s, there was only like maybe 6 people that won the rushing title. It was like Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders,
right?
Christian Okoye, Dickerson, Marcus Allen. Like that's basically, it was back and forth between.
Yep.
So I think the 80s was pretty much dominated by Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, like I said, it's the first name that came to mind. I don't know that there's anyone else. I thought about Marcus Allen briefly, but I don't think he's done it 4 times.
No, I think he was only like a one-time guy. But
yeah. And
Earl Campbell, I think the last time he won was maybe late 70s, early 80s. So
yeah, and everyone else I was thinking of was more 70s. So
yeah,
we're gonna check in with Eric Dickerson.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to? Is checked in with Eric Dickerson, not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
Well, we thought we had a good answer until we heard these guys talking. I think Eric Dickerson's going to be the correct answer, but we went with Walter Payton.
One team will be receiving points. The correct answer is Eric Dickerson. No other running back led the league in rushing more than once in that decade. Heading into the first quarter, we have the following score. Not related to Keith Jackson has 20, and what's Daniel Stern up to is at 30.
Before we get to the first quarter, we wanted to let you know that we are on Patreon if you'd be interested in supporting us financially. Your contributions will be used to help us cover the costs that it takes to bring you the high-quality sports trivia you have come to expect from us. There's also some great perks that come with the Patreon membership to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast, including bonus episodes and Benchwarmers swag. You can find us at patreon.com/benchwarmerstp. Thanks.
So today's first quarter will be pre and post game.
Pre and post game. For this quarter, there will be 5 before and after style questions. For example, if I said, what all-time leader in receptions for the Indianapolis Colts was a Notre Dame safety drafted by the Minnesota Vikings? The answer would be Marvin Harrison Smith. Each question is worth 20 points.
Question 1. What 3-time winner of the Daytona 500 was the Big 12 Conference Men's Basketball Player of the Year in 2019?
Oh, yep,
I got that right.
yep,
There you go.
yep. We're checked in.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson's checked in. So what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
That's not going to be very exciting. Yeah, it might be that kid from Kansas.
I thought it was from Nigeria. Good luck on his first name.
No, it's not right. It's not Isaac Okoro. He's from Auburn. It's like that though. It's like an O name, right?
His last name's Azubuike.
Yeah, but it's not Kalena Azubuike from Kentucky.
No. I think it was maybe he didn't win because I can't. Who's?
I can't think of anyone else from
driver.
Right. Well, it doesn't help that we don't know his first name.
Well, it's not Jeff.
Well, no, Gordon.
Gordon Azubuike.
No, I don't. It's not Jimmy Johnson Azubuike.
I don't know. Jeff Gordon Azubuike. That's all I got. Dale Earnhardt Azubuike.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Azubuike.
There you go.
So you're checking in with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Azubuike?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, so not related to Keith Jackson. What did you guys come up with?
So we drew a blank until Matt said, I don't know much about current basketball, but that Texas Tech kid the Wolves drafted, who's Jarrett Culver. And then I remember there's a NASCAR racer named Dale Jarrett. So it's Dale Jarrett Culver.
One team will be getting points. Probably not a shocker. The correct answer is Dale Jarrett Culver.
No.
Dale won the Daytona 500 in 93, 96, and 2000. He was also the 1999 Winston Cup Series champion. Culver led Texas Tech to the Final Four and was drafted 6th overall by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the 2019 NBA Draft. Question 2. What Hall of Fame linebacker, whose 4 upper front teeth were missing as a result of taking an elbow while playing basketball in high school, became the first player to play all 9 positions in a major league game for the Kansas City Athletics in 1965?
Yeah, you got that?
Yep.
All right, we can check in, Josh.
Okay, not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. So what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
Yeah, I can't do these bomb back pre and post anymore. Jack Lambert seems.
It's got like I said, every NFL films video I see of Jack Lambert, he not have teeth. He doesn't have teeth.
Okay.
The end. That's all I got. That's all I'm basing this on.
I just can't think of a Burt that played.
Jack Lambert and Ernie.
It might be Burt Reynolds. The only Burt is like Burt Campaneris, and I don't think it's him playing all 9 positions.
In a single game, you said?
Yes. He played
all. Why?
I think it was a publicity, get people to show up. Like, I think
sometimes they'll do that like towards the end of the season just to kind of, hey, the season's out of the way. What can we do?
And nobody had done it before, so I think they actually publicized that he was going to be doing this to get more people to show up to the game.
Interesting. Doesn't help, but interesting. I have no idea.
I got nothing.
No, I don't know too many Burts.
Well, you had one, so let's go.
I know he played baseball. That's
there you go.
All right,
Better
I guess
what I got.
We're gonna check in with Jack Lambert Campernaris.
All right, so what's Daniel Stern up to? We checked in with Jack Lambert Campernaris. Not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
So I keep forgetting that you guys will use partial last names like Lambert. I'm always stuck on thinking their name had to start with Lambert, but had with Bert. And then when Matt said that it could start with Bert, I'm like, oh, I think it is. I think it is actually Jack Lambert Campaneris. I think I remember reading that at some point.
So even though Scott put an extra R in his name, I will be giving credit. The correct answer is Jack Lambert Campaneris.
When I typed it, there was only one R when I typed it to Eric.
And
He has a stutter.
When I typed it, I'm sure I spelled it wrong too.
So Jack was NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 1974, NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 1976, and was a 6-time first-team All-Pro linebacker.
Wow.
And Campaneris
6-time.
Campaneris holds the A's franchise record for games played, hits, and at-bats. Moving on to question 3. What boxer who was part of the Fabulous Four in the 1980s became the second boxer to compete over a span of 5 decades when he won the NBA super middleweight title on his 49th birthday in 2000, and was an Uber driver before making his major league debut in 2019?
Okay. I got the second part for sure.
You do, Matt?
Yeah, hold on a second. I know that one.
Oh, yep. I got the first part.
We can check in.
All right, not related. Keith Jackson's checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
Way too much Minnesota in these games.
Our guest is from Minnesota.
Even when they're not, there's too much Minnesota on this podcast. We have guests from Georgia, and there's Minnesota Timberwolves questions.
You're complaining, but it seems like you have that part of the answer.
I mean, Eric has it. I wouldn't have got there. I know who he is now, but that doesn't help us with the boxer.
The other part of it is not Minnesotan, I'll tell you that.
He's not a Minnesota boxer.
I can only think of one Minnesota boxer.
Yeah, me too. I can only think of one.
Mike Tyson? I don't know where he's from.
Yeah, he's from Minnesota. Yeah.
All right, Eric. Big Four in the 80s. Something that can get us to Randy.
The Fabulous Four. That's what they were called.
Sure. I'm sure it was some sort of, Big Four.
Were they a team?
These are boxers we're talking about.
Yeah, it was just tag team boxing. I don't know about this.
They did 4-on-4. Yeah, they did.
That guy that No Mas or whatever. Is it Roberto?
Yeah, it is Roberto something.
Roberto Duran.
Oh, Roberto Durandy Dobnak. That works.
Let's go with it.
All right.
Check it with Roberto Durandy Dobnak.
All right. What's Daniel Stern up to is checked in with Roberto Durandy Dobnak, and not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
I knew it was a twin. I just couldn't remember which one. And Matt immediately said Randy Dobnak. And so of my 80s boxers, I remember like Sugar Ray Leonard, but I also remember Roberto Duran. So we went with Roberto Durandy Dobnak.
Points all around. The other three members.
Big Four are?
The other three members. Or do you want to say who the other three are?
I don't. I think Sugar Ray's got to be one of them.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Thomas Hearns, and as previously mentioned, Marvin Hagler.
And Thomas Hearns' nickname was?
Hitman.
I don't remember.
Hitman Hearns.
Yep.
So was Bret Hart's. Wow.
And, Randy Dobnak, the biggest part of, flavor text for him was in the question that he was an Uber driver.
Right.
Moving on to question 4. What player was selected number 1 overall in the 1990 NHL draft by the Quebec Nordiques and holds the record for the most stolen bases allowed?
Oh, wow. Well, I feel very confident about this one. Not because of me. All right, we'll check in.
That in?
Yep.
Got one.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in. Not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
When I think Quebec Nordiques, all I think of are the Stastny brothers. Back in the day, there was 3 of them. They all played on Quebec, and they'd often be on the same line. And so if you looked at the goal, it would be Stastny from Stastny and Stastny. And one of their sons is Paul Stastny, who currently plays. Anyway, I'm trying to think of famous pitchers that start with a knee. Neil.
Would have had to been somebody who pitched for a long time, right?
Right.
So a long career. I mean, and just because they allowed stolen bases doesn't mean that they were bad pitchers.
No, and they're probably a righty. And I could be wrong on Stastny. That's all I think of when I think of Quebec Nordiques.
They're probably a person who didn't throw a lot of fastballs too. Probably somebody
Right.
who had a lot of like junk, like Greg Maddux mainly threw.
Neil Heaton. I don't remember. I don't know anything about Neil. I just remember Neil Heaton as a name. And again, I'm not sure about 100% sure on stats. It's the only Quebec Nordique I can think of.
And just because they were drafted number 1 overall in 1990 by Quebec doesn't mean that they played their career with.
Yeah, then that helps me even less.
And I have a feeling that if it's not necessarily just somebody, I'm wondering, was there any Gophers?
This was first overall pick in 1990. I think the Stassies were before the 90s. So then my answer is not right.
I have a feeling that Josh is probably doing some know your hosts situation here. Was there any Gophers that were picked? No, I mean, because a lot of those late 80s, 90s Gopher college hockey wasn't as fertile of a ground of drafting for NHLers back then.
Right. I think the only Gopher hockey player ever drafted overall number 1 was Eric Johnson, and that was like 10 years ago. Oh wait, no, I got it. I got it. Know your host, and he knows who my favorite all-time baseball player is. My all-time favorite baseball player is Nolan Ryan, and there was an Owen Nolan who played for the Quebec Nordiques. So Matt, you want to check in with Owen Nolan Ryan?
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah, Owen. We're gonna check in with Owen Nolan Ryan.
All right, not related. Keith Jackson's checked in with Owen Nolan Ryan. And what's Daniel Stern up to? What did you guys come up with, 3 years ago?
I relied on Scott for the hockey one. I couldn't come up with. So Scott bailed me out and said it was Owen Nolan, and I could only think of one baseball player. No, Scott had the baseball player. So we checked in with Owen Nolan Ryan.
Points all around, and I would have felt very bad for Tim if he hadn't gotten to Owen Nolan Ryan.
I would have had to call the first call for help after this if I would have been.
Owen played in the NHL for 18 seasons and was a 5-time All-Star. Ryan also holds records for most strikeouts, no-hitters, and walks, as well as the lowest career batting average allowed with a 204. He's tied for giving up the most home runs. I didn't look to see who he was tied with. But. All right. Moving on to question 5. What 5-time Olympic speed skating gold medalist set the NFL record for the most field goals of 50 yards or more made in a season with 10 during his rookie campaign?
That's got to be it right there, right? Yep. Right?
Yep. We're checked in.
We can check in, yeah.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson's checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
The kicker?
I feel like Justin Tucker just did this, but it wasn't. He just did this like 2 years ago, and that was not his rookie year.
Right. So it would have been someone else that did it before him. But it could be somewhat recent.
Blair Walsh, Minnesota. There's too much Minnesota in this podcast.
I know. Right?
Bonnie Blair Walsh. Yeah, unless that's got to be it.
Yep.
We're checking in with Bonnie Blair Walsh.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to? Is checked in with Bonnie Blair Walsh. And not related to Keith Jackson. What'd you guys come up with?
I remember in this Kickers rookie season, I was at a Twins game with our beloved host, Josh Bomback, when Blair Walsh was about to try a 57-yard field goal, and I said, he's never going to make that. He's a rookie. That's like impossible. And he nailed it, and he beat, I believe, the Colts, if I have that correct. So, yeah, we also checked in with Bonnie Blair Walsh.
Bonnie Blair Walsh is the correct answer. Once again, our guest is from Minnesota. Wheelhouse is Minnesota. Oh. Get off my ass.
And Bonnie Blair, I believe, is from Wisconsin, so right next door.
There you go. Yeah. See.
Well, I wouldn't. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have put it in here. Jeez.
So where's Blair Walsh now? Yeah. How'd he do in the playoffs?
Oh, well, let me get to this. I have flavor text.
All right.
Here we go.
So Bonnie also has a bronze medal to go along with her 5 golds. And following his amazing rookie year, where he was selected as the first team All-Pro kicker, Walsh progressively declined over the next 4 seasons, including his epic failure of a 27-yard field goal attempt in the 2015 NFL playoffs against the Seahawks. and I should have given a trigger warning to Dan before I read this flavor text.
So I think he actually has gotten into the volunteering for the Democratic Party because he likes to go left.
Where's the drums?
After the first quarter, we have the following score. What's Daniel Stern up to? It's 110, and not related to Keith Jackson is now taking the lead with 120. Today's second quarter will be David v. Goliath.
David versus Goliath. This quarter will consist of 5 pairs of questions, one easier, David, and one harder, Goliath. After hearing both questions, each team will pick one of the 2 questions to answer, either David or Goliath. Each David question is worth 20 points, and each Goliath question is worth 50 points.
There will be a theme for today's David v. Goliath.
We have a chance.
The
Perhaps.
theme is firsts.
First in the draft? No? All right.
Question 1, David. What Golden Gopher hockey player was the first recipient of the Hobie Baker Memorial Award in 1981? Question 1, Goliath. What Golden Gopher hockey player was the first goaltender to receive the Hobie Baker Award in 1988?
Oh, we're checked in. Sorry, we're checked in.
So, not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. So, what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
Right in my wheelhouse, so real easy for me.
Okay, this is his favorite team. There's at least going to be a question.
All right. So
The only person I know that even played for them is Thomas Vanek, and I learned that on this podcast. And I know he is neither of the answers. So
no, the David's Neil Broughton. I know that. There's a goalie from the 80s that this kid that I grew up with was obsessed with.
was the kid Josh Bomback?
No, this kid he was a little younger than me, and I remember we would all, like, the whole neighborhood would trade hockey cards, and
Yeah.
anytime anybody had this card, you could get anything you wanted from this kid with this player, and I feel like it's him.
That wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't have given you anything for his card. But
it was so weird because it was just he wasn't a good guy, like a good goalie. It was just like, you could get whatever you wanted.
All right, so 1988, so he probably got drafted, right? I mean, if you won the Hobie Baker,
Yeah.
sure he played in the NHL.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he played he played for the Sabres. That's why this kid loved him.
Oh, this still sounds like Thomas Vanek to me.
Rob.
Is it going into his mind palace?
Hold on,
Here we
I gotta
go.
write it.
Into the Mind Palace. It's one of the T-shirts I'm working on.
He's going through the catalog of sports cards right now.
Yep.
Rob Stauber.
There it is. Check it in.
You guys checking that in?
Yes.
All right. So what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in Goliath with Rob Stauber. And not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
So we went with Goliath. Yeah, for sure Neil Broughton is the David answer, but Rob Stauber is the Goliath answer that we're going with. And he only had like a cup of coffee. He actually played for the LA Kings was who he was drafted by. But he didn't honestly have a very successful NHL career, but he's had a great post-NHL career as a goalie coach. He has his own goalie school, I believe.
So you are correct that Neil Broughton was the answer to David. And Broughton is the only player to have won the Hobie Baker Award, an Olympic gold medal, and a Stanley Cup championship. He was on the 1980 Olympic team, and he was on the 95 New Jersey Devils. And aside from that, he has also won an NCAA hockey championship in 1979.
And he just missed out on winning a high school hockey tournament thanks to those darn Edina Hornets.
And Rob Stauber served as head coach of the USA Hockey Women's National Team at the 2018 Winter Olympic Games, where his team won their first gold medal since 1998. So that's probably where you would have heard his name most recently, if you watch Winter Olympics. Moving on to question 2 in firsts. David, what pitcher who played for 7 teams over a 17-year career became the first South Korean-born player in Major League Baseball history in 1994? Question 2, Goliath. What pitcher who played for 2 seasons with the San Francisco Giants became the first Japanese-born player in Major League Baseball history in 1964?
Let's check in, Scott.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
I heard a podcast, and I can't remember where I heard it from, but I heard a podcast about Japanese baseball. Now I do remember. It was on John Boy. And I thought they were talking about the 60s and how the Japanese Major League Baseball worked and how Japanese baseball wouldn't interact with Major League Baseball. And there's this whole thing about, but there's this one player who in the 60s went and played for the Giants. And I thought his name was something like that, Murakami or something, but I'm not certain about that. I'm just
Right. I only know of one. I should have mentioned it to you in the chat that Sadaharu Oh is the only Japanese player I know of. I think he's the all-time leader ever in home runs if you count baseball.
Yeah.
So should we go with the other answer?
So we'll go with David. So we're gonna check in with David, and the answer is it's Chan-Ho Park, right? Or Park? We'll just say Park.
All right. So not related to Keith Jackson is checking with the David with Park. What's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
I feel like Bombeck for this one because the only reason I knew this is because of research for the show, trying to write some fourth quarter questions. And I stumbled upon this guy's name. No, I forget his first name. His last name is Murakami. So, Matt, you're right.
So we'll start with the David. The correct answer is Chan-Ho Park. He was an all-star in 2001. And Matt, you should have felt a little more confident because the correct answer is Masanori Murakami. And aside from being the first Japanese-born player, he's also the first Asian-born player in Major League Baseball history. Moving on to question 3 in firsts. Who was the first and only player to make more than 400 three-point shots in one season? Question 3, Goliath. What Boston Celtic is credited with making the first three-point shot in NBA history on October 12th, 1979?
Okay, Josh, we're going to check in.
All right. Not related to Keith Jackson is checked in, so what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
Eric.
So a name popped in my head. A last name, no clue what the first name is, but Ford popped in my head.
Yeah, I've done enough of these with you, usually always against you, to know that when stuff pops in your head, it ends up being right.
It's almost like a blackout. Like just you hear a question, the first thing that came to your mind, and I'm not confident in it because I don't have anything to support it.
Well, again,
it was there for a reason, and I don't know why.
We just gained the lead. We just gained the lead on the last one. They took a little. It's not like they locked in or checked in right away, so they may have ended up just going with David.
All right, let's check in with Ford.
All right, so what Daniel Stern up to is checking in for Goliath with Ford, and not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
Well, fairly quickly, I typed him Chris Ford, and he said Phil Ford, and then we said, well, why don't we just go with Ford? So we're checking in also with Ford.
All right, to answer the David first, the correct answer is
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry?
Steph Curry.
Robert Parrish.
He made 402 three-pointers in the 2015-2016 season. James Harden is the only other player to make more than 300 three-pointers in a season. I think Steph Curry's made over 300 two other times. And points all around because the correct answer is Chris Ford. However, the 1979 season opener at Boston Garden was more remarkable for the debut of one Larry Joe Bird.
Who?
Oh, boy.
This is the best one yet.
Sorry, I'm going to be sending a cease and desist.
Trademark.
That is trademarked.
You just get a nickel every time somebody says it. That's fine.
I'll send you a check bomb back.
Moving on to question 4 in firsts. David, who was the first pure kicker to be elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Question 4, Goliath, who was the first kicker to make a field goal in a Super Bowl?
Josh, we're going to check in.
All right. What's Daniel Stern up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
I think so. Jan Stenerud played for the Chiefs, I want to say like in the late 60s. And then he played for the Vikings in the late 70s, and he played for the Packers for 3 or 4 seasons. In the
I don't
early
think he
80s.
played for the Vikes in the 70s, so that would have been the Fred Cox era. I think he kicked in the dome, which opened in 81, didn't he?
It might be. But I think if there's anybody who would have kicked a field goal for the Chiefs, either in Super Bowl 1 or Super Bowl 4, it would have been Jan Stenerud.
Yeah.
If it would have been in Super Bowl 2, it would have been probably what's his name, the Raiders quarterback who was a kicker.
George Blanda.
Yeah, George Blanda. And I don't know who the kickers were for either the Jets or the Colts in Super Bowl 3. So
the first Super Bowl was in 67. I was 1. So I don't remember that game.
you don't?
No.
You're not going to use the excuse, well, it was before I was born.
No.
You're the only one who was alive of the 5 of us sitting here.
I did attend the Apollo 11 launch where they walked on the moon. That was in 69.
You attended it, so you were at the moon?
Seriously, I was there.
Yeah.
Little known fact, first child in space. Tim Simplot.
Exact little fun fact about you.
He actually fist bumped Neil Armstrong.
Solid move, dude. I mean, we would be the David for Jan Stenerud would be a total guess.
Right.
The Goliath for Jan Stenerud, you had Yepremian as the other potential kicker. That was the Hall of Famer. I don't have anything solid on either one of them. So I think if we're gonna gamble, let's gamble with Jan Stenerud with the Goliath.
All right, we'll do that. We'll check in with Jan Stenerud for the Goliath.
All right, so not related to Keith Jackson's checked in for the Goliath with Jan Stenerud. And what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
I don't know what he's up to yet, but Daniel Stern is he's a great actor.
Definitely better than D-list.
D-list now. I don't know. Anyway, I thank my lack of puberty at the age of 10. I'm glad I didn't hit it early and discover girls. So I was playing sports and watching every Super Bowl highlight package I could ever find on ESPN. And especially on, I think it was like New Year's Eve, they would play like Super Bowls 1 through whatever year it was in. And I know Mike Mercer, I believe, kicked the first ever field goal in a Super Bowl.
Is that what you're checking in with?
Yes.
All right. So neither of you went with the David. The correct answer for David is Jan Stenerud. He was elected in 1991. Prior to Stenerud, Lou Groza, who was also an offensive tackle, was elected in 1974. And previously mentioned George Blanda, who was also a quarterback, was elected in 1981. The correct answer for the Goliath is, in fact, Mike Mercer. He kicked a 31-yard field goal in Super Bowl I for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Scott was too busy with Jessica Alba as a kid. I was watching NFL films.
This is true.
Back when I was a kid, we didn't have YouTube and ESPN. Get off my lawn.
I didn't either, but it was just you park in front of the TV and your parents don't bother you.
I also didn't. I just watched Idle Hands like 100 times.
I remember I'd watch NFL films with John Facenda.
Mm-hmm. He was born Earl Christian Campbell.
Lumbering down. What a all-time greatest.
Moving on to question 5 in firsts. Who was the oldest player to play his first Major League Baseball game? Question 5, Goliath. Who was the youngest player to play in his first Major League Baseball game?
Is that for the Goliath you're saying? That something you said?
I'm thinking that for the David.
Scott, I got something. Hear me out on this.
Fill us in too, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's check that in.
Yep, we're checked in.
All right, what's Daniel's turn up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
Yeah, I don't know either one of these. The only thing I was mentioning to Tim that I thought the Reds had some kid back in the 50s that was like a promotional thing who
I think
made a
you
start
might be
when he
thinking
was
of
like 15 or something.
you might be thinking of Eddie Goodell. He's like the shortest guy. Remember him, the little.
No, I remember
Oh.
that, but this was like in the
Oh.
50s, and I think his name was Nuxhall, but I don't know
Oh,
why.
Joe Nuxhall.
Really?
Joe Nuxhall was the first name. Joe.
Well, that's the name that I sent you. Is that maybe I spelled it
Did
wrong.
you send that one? I didn't see that name.
And it
You
said
sent that to
something
me.
like, oh, yeah,
I like that idea. Let's check in with that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is. I see it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna check in. What's his first name?
Joe.
Joe Nuxall.
All right, so not related to Keith Jackson checks in with the Goliath with Joe Nuxall. And what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
Go ahead, Scott.
We also checked in with Goliath. No, we checked in with
No, we
David.
did.
Sorry. We checked in with David. It's not a purse, it's a satchel. We went with Satchel Page.
Oh.
All right. So starting with the David, the correct answer is in fact Satchel Paige. He was 42 years and 2 days old on July 9th, 1948 when he made his Major League Baseball debut. Obviously, he had been pitching for many, many years before that. And there will be points all around because the correct answer to the Goliath is Joe Nuxall. He was 15 years and 316 days old on June 10th, 1944. He pitched 2/3 of an inning for the Reds after being called upon for that single game due to player shortages during World War II. About his appearance, he said, "I was pitching against 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, kids 13 and 14 years old. All of a sudden, I look up and there's Stan Musial and the likes. It was a very scary situation."
Nice pull there, Matt. As soon as he said the name, I was like, yeah, that's definitely it.
Well, I sent to Scott. I'm like, this. He was thinking of guys currently. I'm like, this is right in Matt's wheelhouse. 40s and 50s. I'm like, I knew the age. I hope he asked for the age, but he asked for the name. I knew the record was 15.
Here, I was thinking it was like, because I couldn't remember, but I think Goodner Strawberry played right away out of the minors, and I wasn't even close. Or they didn't go to the minors. They just went right to the one of those
But
two.
A-Rod did the same thing too, didn't
Yeah.
A-Rod start when he was just
He was
turned
18.
18? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, guys. Throughout that round, the Goliath was answered correctly at least once in every question. And I was a little worried. I thought some of these were pretty tough and obscure, but obviously not obscure to the point that you guys couldn't get them. So heading into halftime, we have the following score. We have a shift in the leader, but it's still a really close game. Not related to Keith Jackson, has 290 points. And what's Daniel Stern up to has 330 points.
It is now time for the halftime show. There will be 5 entertainment questions pertaining to sports, with each question worth 20 points.
Question 1. What is the title of the series of documentary films which aired on ESPN focusing on captivating stories of women in sports told through the lens of female filmmakers?
You go with that, Scott?
Yeah, I can't come up with anything better.
All right, we're gonna check in.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to? It's checked in. So not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
But we have no idea.
I'm all I can think of is things that are just, stereotypes of female stuff, but it's got to be something that's more female empowering, right? It can't be something like, pink or purple or something that's like color or something that's more related to feminine. It's got to be something more about like breaking the glass or something like that.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I just can't think of what it is. So I'm not going to be much help on this one.
Yeah, I don't know either. I have no clue. And the thing about it is I should know this. I listen to the 30 for 30 podcasts, and a lot of them have been hosted by females. I listen to a ton of ESPN related content on podcasts, and I watch all the 30 for 30 movies. And I've looked at that 30 for 30 Wikipedia a billion times. You think it would have once triggered in my brain, but no. Let's go.
So I guess instead of checking in, we're going to check out.
Yeah. How about we just check in with breaking the glass?
Yeah, there you go.
Sure.
All right. So not related to Keith Jackson is checking in with Breaking the Glass. And what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
Scott, go ahead. I got
All right.
people going nuts.
Well, first of all, I think Breaking the Glass is the Stone Cold Steve Austin biography. So I'm not sure that that's
Really?
we need more females on this show.
Yeah,
all
We
right.
do.
Like, let's get some more female fans and get them on here. We went with Eric. Thought of this. That came into his head like half of his answers usually do. He stumbles upon them. But it did sound familiar once he said it. We checked in with 9 for 9.
All right. The correct answer is 9 for Ix. Wait, never mind. The correct answer is 9 for 9.
Eric even spelled it like that too.
Good old math humor. 9 for 9. The series name is inspired by Title IX, the federal civil rights legislation passed in 1972 that prohibited discrimination on the basis of sex in educational institutions receiving federal aid. Title IX has also been regarded as helping to expand women's and girls' access to athletic opportunities.
I'm all for it, but I've never heard of that show before.
So it's not a show. It's like the
Or
30
I know
for
what you
30.
mean, but yeah.
So there are 9 documentaries, 60-minute
Yeah.
documentaries, like I said, all focused on women in sports by female filmmakers. So, question 2. Towards the end of the movie Bull Durham, Crash Davis, played by pod favorite Kevin Costner, is released by the Durham Bulls, and he joins what other real minor league team also located in North Carolina, with which he breaks the minor league record for career home runs?
I've still yet to watch any.
This is the only Kevin Costner sports movie that you should watch. The others, you don't have to.
Field of Dreams?
This one. Like I said, this is the one.
This is Dan breaking in, and I would just like to apologize on behalf of the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. The views of Josh Bombeck do not necessarily reflect those of the podcast, and, well, let's just face it, he's wrong. Anyway, back to the show.
My mom grew up right by where the Field of Dreams actually is, and we went there to visit once, and it's actually pretty cool.
I'm sure it is. I just think that movie is personally overrated. I mean, James Earl Jones is excellent.
Yeah, Eric, I don't think that's probably the best answer we would be able to come up with. It makes sense. Eric, I'm good checking in with that.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We're checked in.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in. So not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
I don't know my minor league teams very well. I'm thinking something Raleigh, but Raleigh's right next to Durham, so I doubt they have a minor league team. I like your thought of Asheville. I just don't know what their nickname is. I thought it might be the Oaks, but I don't know that.
It's something goofy like that, but it's not. I don't know.
I'm just trying to think of what Asheville's known for. I mean, they're known for beer. They're known for the. They've got the largest private home in America, the Vanderbilt Mansion.
Are they called the Asheville Tourists or Tourism or something like that?
I've never heard that, but I trust you. I trust you on this. So.
Oh, we had some friends that just moved down there recently, and they talked about something. They moved down to Western North Carolina.
And then the team uniform is like Hawaiian shirts with cameras on them.
That would be hilarious. Yeah. All right, I don't have anything better. So
black socks and sandals.
I like it. Yeah. We're gonna go with the Asheville socks and sandals. No, the Asheville tourists. Tourism,
right?
Tourists, something like that. I think.
So not related to Keith Jackson. Checked in with the Asheville Tourists. And what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
Eric, you go with this one since it's the affiliate of your team.
Yeah, I have no. Well, it's a 100% guess. I've not seen this movie. Everybody knows. I've seen like 2 Kevin Costner movies. One being Draft Day.
That's right.
So we checked in with the Charlotte Knights.
Right, and what's Daniel Stern checks in with the Charlotte Knights? One team will be getting points. Matt Doherty, you can thank your friends who moved to this area. The correct answer is the Asheville Tourists. They have been the Class A affiliate of the Colorado Rockies since 1994. However, when the movie was released in 1998, they were the Class A affiliate of the Houston Astros.
This dude was in A-ball?
Yes. So
A-ball?
the whole premise is he's kind of an old washed up catcher. They purposely put him down to A-ball to mentor the young pitcher, and I'm not going to tell you more because that's the whole premise of the.
I mean, he dies at the end, but
Charlotte Knights were at least AAA, so I thought
the Durham Bulls are not A-ball.
Yeah, I know that.
Yes, the Durham Bulls are A-ball. So Matt,
I thought the Durham Bulls were the AAA affiliate of the Rays.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
The Durham Bulls are also Class A ball. I was kind of surprised at that when I was looking at this stuff.
I know they are because
Michael Jordan played for it, and he wouldn't have played in AAA.
We have an A-ball team here, the Valley Cats, and they
Jordan played
play
for
Durham.
Jordan played for
the Barons.
My bad.
Barons.
Sorry.
Charlotte Knights are the AAA for the White Sox, which is why I
The-
thought at least this guy would get AAA. Jeez.
Nope.
I just know it from that movie with Dennis Quaid, the rookie, about Durham. I thought they were the AAA in that movie, but maybe not. I guess not.
Well, they might have been in the movie.
Yeah.
Then it would have been not a factual fact.
This is Dan breaking in one more time. In 1988, when the film was released, the Durham Bulls were the Class A affiliate of the Atlanta Braves. They switched affiliations in 1997 and have since become the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. Back to the show.
If you ever want to ruin your life, look up the actual facts from those sports movies that are based on true stories.
No, I don't. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's bad.
Why do you have to ruin things, Eric?
Cool Runnings. Basically, the only thing they got right in the movie was that it was a Jamaican bobsled team. Everything else made up.
Actually, my favorite movie, The Natural. Actually, the book. I read the book and it has the opposite ending. It's the book. In the book, it's actually really depressing.
It's super depressing.
Seriously, it's a really depressing book.
Surprisingly, in D2, the guy's not from Iceland. He's from Russia. Jerks.
They're talking about
He's not really a dentist.
yeah, no,
he's not.
And Gordon
turns
Bombay
out-
is not real.
So apparently he wasn't the Reykjavik dick. He was the Russian.
Yeah,
dick.
yeah.
Actually,
Turned out he was just a dick. It didn't matter where he was from.
You know what makes me laugh about the original Mighty Ducks is that the most unintentionally funny thing in the movie was when they drive the limo out onto the rink, and it's obviously a city rink, and the mom comes out yelling, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You'll fall through the ice." And all of us here in Minnesota realize that it's just a city rink that's like 2 inches deep.
Oh, Charlie's mom.
Wonder what she's up to.
Question 3 in the halftime. In the 2017 biographical sports film Battle of the Sexes, what actors portray Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs?
Scott, I got this.
Yeah, all right.
I got you, Scott.
Because I can't think of it. I can see, I remember the movie coming out. Yep, let's check in.
We're checked in, Josh.
All right. What's Daniel Stern up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
I'm sure that I know Emma Stone played Billie Jean King, and I'm pretty sure that Steve Carell played Bobby Riggs.
Oh, I didn't see you put on the top there. Oh, yeah, sure. I have nothing, so go for it.
We'll check in with Emma Stone and Steve Carell.
All right. Not related to Keith Jackson, checked in with Emma Stone and Steve Carell. What's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
I didn't fact check this movie yet, but I heard it's based on a true story. But we checked in with Steve Carell and Emma Stone.
Points all around. The correct answers are Emma Stone and Steve Carell.
Interesting. Not the first time Steve Carell and Emma Stone collaborated either. Watch Crazy Stupid Love if you haven't.
That's a good movie.
With Ryan
Reynolds. No.
Gosling.
Gosling. Same thing.
Moving on to question 4. In the 1980s, 2 professional athletes became celebrity members of G.I. Joe. Name either of these athletes.
You make the call on this. We got 3, I think, pretty decent answers. So,
well, I'm okay with checking in on that one. The one that I just sent you.
let's do that.
All right. Then what do you want to do for the second one?
No,
You
we
only
only
need
need
one.
Oh, we need one. All right.
Yep.
We'll check in then.
All right, now related to Keith Jackson is checked in. So what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
I got nothing.
I'm not even sure where to begin as far as like what type of athlete they would be looking for. Like a fighter, like an Olympian.
I mean, Mr. T makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, he had like the A team, and
was he an athlete? Or was he just an actor?
I guess that depends on who you ask, right? Because he was at the first WrestleMania.
What was he before he was?
I don't know.
An actor.
I have no idea. Who else could it be? Like,
I mean, Hulk Hogan, I guess, if you consider him an athlete.
I think wrestlers are athletes, at least back then. Now they're sports entertainers, but I mean, could it be like Lauren LT? I'm just trying to think. I mean, he was big in the, and I'm just trying to think of guys that were big, physically big, and also popular. Like I don't think it was like a boxer.
Wouldn't be like George Foreman, or
I guess maybe Foreman. Yeah, I was thinking like it wouldn't be like Sugar Ray Leonard or Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
I mean, I like LT maybe better than Mr. T. I don't know. Let's go with LT. I think.
All right,
just because I'm worried about Mr. T being considered.
Yeah, sure. Athlete. Yep. All right, so we'll check in with Lawrence Taylor.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in with Lawrence Taylor, not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
So I'm using some psychology on this one. I feel like since this is the 80s and you specifically said an athlete, I think it's a wrestler, because if it wasn't a wrestler, you probably would have said what football player and basketball player, or what baseball. You would have actually named the sport. That's just some psychology I'm thinking. We're not answering Mr. T, but he was a bouncer before he was, and a bodyguard before he was in Rocky. And his real name is Lawrence Tiro, by the way. So we went with Hulk Hogan. We checked in with Hulk Hogan.
Not related to Keith Jackson's checked in with Hulk Hogan. Unfortunately, no points will be awarded for this question. However, you were sniffing around the rights for one of the sports. Actually, both sports. You have the right sports. Professional wrestling and football. The first one maybe should be a little more obvious for the wrestler. It was
Sergeant Slaughter.
Also known as Robert Remus. And the football player was the Fridge. William Perry.
That was the first thing I sent over to him was Fridge.
So Sergeant Slaughter joined the team in 1985, and the Fridge joined in 1986.
I thought that was the other way around as a kid. I thought he was a G.I. Joe and then was a wrestler. Like they made a wrestler after him.
No.
Really?
He was a wrestler first.
Interesting.
Then they took his persona and made him a G.I. Joe. So he was the first celebrity member of G.I. Joe.
So I used to host bar trivia for like 3 years, and I just broke my rule that I always told teams was always go with your first guess.
Did you have Sergeant Slaughter as your first guess?
No, Matt said William Perry.
All right, last question in the halftime. What is the longtime anthem of the Boston Red Sox that was given new life with a version recorded by Dropkick Murphys in 2004?
It's from.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's from one of the MVP baseball games. It's on the soundtrack. There you go, Tim.
That's the only reason I know the song.
Yeah, same here. We're checked in.
I know the song.
All right. What's Daniel Stern up to once again is getting an answer from a video game, much like they got the Colt 45s a few episodes back. Not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
No, that's not it. Oh.
Not quite.
No, I first said over Sweet Caroline. I know that they always saying that at Fenway. Is that their anthem though?
Couldn't tell you. I know it was written by Caroline Kennedy.
Even if it's not their anthem, that's the only guess I got. So
I'd say we check in with that one.
All right, so not related to Keith Jackson is checking in with Sweet Caroline. And what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
Boston's 10th man cannot be wrong. It's Tessie is the name of the song.
The correct answer is Tessie. The original Tessie was from the 1902 Broadway musical The Silver Slipper. The newer song, written in 2004, recounts how the singing of the original Tessie by the Royal Rooters fan club helped the Boston Americans win their first World Series in 1903.
You know, I've never heard of that song, and now that I've played this game, I'm going to hear it somewhere.
It's another one of those Another one of those things that I did not know that had. I thought that was just a song on the MLB soundtrack.
Same here. I never knew there was anything to it.
Their mascot is also named Tessie.
I just remember my best friend and I playing that game and just singing Tessie every time it came on.
I have it on my iPod right now.
God, you can sing Tessie. Sing it.
I don't. I just know the Boston's 10th man cannot be wrong part, and they scream it. Oh, Tessie, you are the only, something like that.
Yep, that sounds right.
There it is. Oh, it's like I'm playing MVP Baseball 05 again.
Do you guys know what the letters PSDS mean?
PSDS? No.
That's how they say pierced ears in Boston. Yeah, my daughter just got PSDS.
A lot of our listeners like Boston.
He's got smallpox.
Heading into the second half, we have a score of not related to Keith Jackson with 330, and what Stanley's turn up to is 390, so still a close game.
We'd like to take a minute to invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Benchwarmers TP. We also have a Facebook group for fans of the pod called The Bench. Join us there to comment on the latest episodes and share cool sports facts and trivia. If you'd be willing to rate and review us on iTunes or Stitcher, we'd greatly appreciate the support so that other people may find this podcast. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan. Now on to the second half. Today's third quarter is a new quarter style, known as 5-on-5.
5-on-5. For this quarter, there will be 5 categorized lists containing 5 items each, where each item is worth 10 points. The teams will attempt to guess as many items as they can. However, if a team has an incorrect guess, they will receive 0 points for that list.
List number 1. Would like you to name me the 5 schools, along with the University of Minnesota, that formed the inaugural Big Ten Men's Ice Hockey Conference in 2014.
You're 100% sure on that?
100%.
Then we can check in.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. So what's Daniel's turn up to? You guys can talk it out.
I'm pretty confident in that list.
Right, but we got to get 5.
How many did I give you?
6. So we got to whittle this down. Right, so we have 6 there.
So there's one that's not.
Yeah, I definitely feel good about Michigan for sure. Of the 6 you listed,
there's one odd man in that, and that's going to be Notre Dame.
I was thinking either Notre Dame or Penn State, or probably the one that's not in there.
Penn State's definitely in there. That one I'm fairly positive about. Just because of the sheer connection to Terry Pagula, the owner of the Buffalo Sabres. So
okay. Yeah, it would make sense
so
for Notre Dame to be the one.
Yeah. So I'm good with Michigan State, Notre Dame.
No, not
Ohio
Notre
State.
Dame.
I'm sorry. I'm reading my list. Sorry. Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, and Wisconsin. The Ohio State.
All right.
You sure you want to go with that as your answer?
What do you want, Scott?
No. I'm talking about what you did with Ohio State.
He's going to mark it wrong because I put
might.
B.
All right.
I just might if you give that as an answer and it's correct. I just might.
We're going to check in with Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, Wisconsin, and the University of Ohio State.
Ohio State University. It's always.
No, I did it on purpose for him because he hates that.
Oh man! All right. Okay, so what's Dale's turn up to is checked in with 5 schools, not related to Keith Jackson. So, what do you guys got?
So I'm a big college hockey fan, and the worst thing ever was the breakup of our old conference, which was the WCHA.
Thank you.
The reason why they created the Big Ten is that there used to only be 5 Big Ten schools that had D1 college hockey teams. They were Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, obviously the Gophers. But then once Penn State added their team their team, there are now 6 teams competing in a sport, and the Big Ten rules are if you have 6 teams competing in a sport, you can now create your own league. So that's how that league came about. So anyway, we are also checking with the exact same answer they had: Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, and Penn State.
I wish I could give you guys some bonus because you didn't even try to screw around putting the in front of Ohio State. No. The correct answers are Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State, and Wisconsin. Notre Dame joined the conference in 2018. All right, moving on to list 2. I want you to name me the 5 players with the most career sacks in the NFL since they began tracking the stat in 1982.
Josh, we're checked in.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
Really sad they didn't start doing that list until 82, because one of my all-time favorite players, Alan Page, would likely be on that list, but they didn't start until 82.
Mm-hmm.
First defensive player ever to be named MVP.
I'm pretty confident with Bruce Smith and Reggie White. I'm not confident with Lawrence Taylor or with Michael Strahan.
All right.
Just because we had a question here recently, a top 10, a Dean's list that was NFL sacks in the, what was it, Eric, the 90s or the 2000s? 90s?
2000s.
And it made me go back and do some research because I remember specifically that Bruce Smith was on the top of that list. Other ones that I think are sneaky high, but I'm not confident. I think Kevin Green might be on that list.
Oh, yeah.
And I hate to say this, but I think Chris Dolman might be on the list too. But I'm not confident about that one. I'm confident about Smith, White, and Kevin Green. One other one that's sneaky high because he played a long career, because he played till he was like 34, even though he kept on. He probably should have retired when he was 31. Well, I think might be Julius Peppers might be on that list too, but he might not be in the top 5. He might just be like in the top 10. But the only ones I'm confident with are Smith, White, and Green.
Okay, let's check in with that then. You want to in with that?
Sounds good.
All right.
So not related to Keith Jackson's checking in with Smith, White, and Green. What's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
Matt, you did it again. You had the right answer. And you didn't go with it. So we checked in with Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Kevin Green, Julius Peppers, and former Viking Chris Dolman.
I'm okay with not getting all of them just because I don't want to get 0. So
points all around. Those were the 5 in that order. I don't have my Chris Dolman jersey at the moment hanging up just because I hated taking it down and putting it back up and taking it down and putting it back up. So
we should say the late Chris Dolman.
That's right.
He passed away within the last 6 months, I believe.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is very depressing, Josh.
We didn't. We had nothing to do with that. We weren't a podcast yet.
How many of your answers are dead?
Jeez. It's so
well. That happened. Yeah. Like Joe Nuxall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Joe.
Are we sure he's dead? He was only 15 in the 40s. So.
Okay. Satchel Paige.
Somebody check.
Satchel Paige.
Joe Nuxall.
Somebody
check. You guys brought up Strahan. He's number 6. And who else? LT is he's tied for 14.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
So, okay, moving on to list 3. I would like you to name me the 5 tennis players with the most Grand Slam men's singles titles in the Open era. And that is from 1968 to present.
Want to go with those 4, Tim?
Yep.
All right.
So we're checked in.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson's checked in. So what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out and let me know your answers.
So Scott, Nadal, he's not big with any of the Opens except the French, but he's won that 10 plus times.
Yeah, he's won a ton. He's the one of our list that I'm.
So I think that alone, and maybe 1 or 2 from the other ones. I mean, he puts him at least 14, or 15, which would be top 5 in my mind.
How many do you think Novak has then?
Probably around the same, but
12.
His is kind of spread across.
Yeah.
every one of them. And then
like,
Sampras was like
Sampras and Federer. I feel 100% on.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean the fifth one could be anybody. It could be
I know
Connors.
Yep, could be
Borg.
Yeah.
And this is what hurts. I want to pick a name and just gamble, but I'm not gonna.
I know. Yeah. All right. We'll go with those four.
All right. So you guys are checking in with Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Sampras.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. And not related to Keith Jackson. I know your partner stepped out for a moment, but Matt, you want to let me know your
All right. So
answers?
we had similar conversations. We clued in on Federer, Sampras, and then we picked Nadal also pretty early on. Then we had a lot of conversations back and forth, and we didn't come up. Nokovic didn't even come up in our discussion, so apologies to him and his family and everyone related to him who listens.
Apologize for calling him Nokovic.
What? How do you say his name again?
Djokovic.
No. But then Tim came up with a name that I don't even know if it's on there, and we're probably going to get 0, so we'll find out. But he came up with the name Rod Laver. So we went with Rod Laver. Laver, Federer, Sampras, and Nadal.
All right. So here are the top 5. Number 1 with 20 Grand Slam titles, Roger Federer. Number 2 with 19, Rafael Nadal. Number 3 with 17, Novak Djokovic. Number 4 with 14, Pete Sampras.
Really?
And number 5 with 11, Bjorn Borg. So Rod Laver doesn't make the top 5, even if you take all of them into account. I think he's 6th. There's a different British person who would come in 5th.
Andy Murray?
No, an older from the pre-Open era.
Like Stan Smith.
So from the Open era, tied for 6th was Jimmy Connors and Ivan Lendl and Andre Agassi, all with 8. Tied for 9th is John McEnroe and Mats Wilander with 7. And tied for 11th with 6 are Stefan Edberg and Boris Becker.
Wow, those are all great names.
So 40
Josh,
points. Yes, sir.
Did you refer to Laver as British?
Oh, maybe he's
Aussie.
He's not
Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
Just
Australian. Thank you for the. Oh, we do have people who like us to correct things. Thank you for correcting me. List number 4. I would like you to give me the 5 starters from the national champion 1989-1990 UNLV Runnin' Rebels basketball team.
This is all you, Simplot.
I did not know that this was one of our guest's favorite teams. Well, like he said, the 90-91, which
same team,
not quite the same team.
Well, obviously a couple,
and they didn't win the championship.
Right. There's one more, Eric. I can't think of his name.
Start typing names. Let's go with it.
You want to go with those 4 or those 5?
Yep, we're checked in.
All right. So not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out.
I'm having an anti-Eric moment where I'm not remembering someone that I know. It's definitely Stacey Augmon and Larry Johnson.
They were starters?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They were like the 2 best players on the team.
Yeah.
And then there's a third guy. He was also good. He played in the NBA.
Greg Anthony? Was he on that team?
Maybe. Did he go to UNLV?
He did.
Then he would likely be on that team. Because that's around when he got drafted, right? I think he got drafted in 89 or 90 or 91.
You want to just go 3?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to give you any more.
No, I can't give you the obscure ones. Like I used to watch like a couple of the games on ESPN Classic, but I was paying attention to, Augmon and those guys.
All right, let's go with was it Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, and Greg Anthony?
Yep.
All right. So what's Daniel Stern up to? Checked in with Greg Anthony, Stacey Augmon, and Larry Johnson. Not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
So there's the 4 that I'm 100% sure of are Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, Greg Anthony, and Anderson Hunt. and I'm 90% sure that the fifth one is George Ackles. Uh-oh.
It's either right or he was the sixth man.
He was supposed to be their fifth. He was supposed to be their center that season. However, George Ackles broke his wrist before the season. Their starting center was David Butler.
David Butler.
So 30 points
before.
awarded to what's Daniel's turn up to, and unfortunately 0 points for not related to Keith Jackson. And I would not call Anderson Hunt a obscure player. David Butler would have been the one obscure.
Yeah.
Casey Ogden is my all-time favorite college basketball player.
You know what?
He's good.
He very well might be mine as well. Just watching him rebound and play defense, he was just amazing. You know what his nickname is? I'm assuming Tim. You know his nickname?
Yeah, Plastic Man.
Plastic Man. All right.
Darn it.
The last couple have been not so good for not related to Keith Jackson. We'll see if they do better on list number 5.
Stop the board.
I would like you to name the 5 Minnesota Twins who have won AL MVP since the franchise has been in Minnesota.
I don't think so, but I like those 4 though. I don't think we're gonna get.
Yeah.
You want to just go with those 4?
Yep.
All right.
We'll check in.
All right, what's Daniel Stern up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out.
We need to make up points here, buddy. So I think we might need to gamble on this one.
Yeah, I know Maurer and Morneau are obvious ones. I don't think Kirby ever won one. I mentioned it in my chat. There was that
right.
1 year he had an ungodly great year, but Canseco hit 40 home run steals, and so he won it that instead. Because Kirby just had an awesome year that year.
I'm confident Killebrew won it at least once. He only had 1 or 2 seasons in Washington. I think just one.
And I'm almost positive, I think on one of your previous broadcasts, you talked about how Zoilo Versailles won an MVP. Or maybe it was but I think it might have been Rookie of the Year. I don't know.
And I'm 75% sure that Rod Carew won it like in 72 or something like that, or 74-ish or something.
You check in with Maurer, Morneau, Carew, and Killebrew?
I know. I say we go Zoilo also.
Okay,
Just
Zoilo.
Because let's gamble. We got to go all 5 because we need to make up points.
All right, we'll check in with. Did you get all that? Maurer, Morneau, Carew, Killebrew, and Versailles.
All right. So not related to Keith Jackson has Maurer, Morneau, Carew, Killebrew, and Versailles. How about what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
We had very, very similar conversations. Obviously, right off the bat, Maurer and Morneau, Killebrew, right off the bat. And then, of course, nobody's got mad hits like Rod Carew. So we threw him on our list. And then we debated on Puckett for a second, but I don't remember him ever winning one. We ended up checking in with the 4: Rod Carew, Harmon Killebrew, Justin Morneau, Joe Mauer. But now that I've heard it, I'm almost positive that the other one is Zoilo.
So in 2009, Joe Mauer won. 2006, Justin Morneau. 1977, when I think he hit like 381, Rod Carew. 1969, Harmon Killebrew. And in 1965, Zoilo Versailles.
All right, 65, the World Series year.
Just to let you know, for the franchise, 2 other players won MVP. Walter Johnson in 1913 and 1924, and Roger Peckinpah in 1925 won for the Washington Senators.
Oh, yeah, the Peckinpah days.
All right, after the third quarter, we have the following scores. What's Daniel Stern up to has an even 600. They have an opportunity to break the scoring record. And not related to Keith Jackson, has a respectable 460. Still anyone's game. That brings us to the fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up.
The fourth quarter, known as Put Your Fours Up. This quarter consists of 5 categorized questions that teams will wager up to 100 points each, not to exceed their current point total.
So the categories for today are as follows. Question 1, put me in coach, also known as Sixth Man of the Year. Question 2, I'm ready to play, also known as rain delays. Question 3, today, also known as current events. Question 4, look at me, also known as TO, the ultimate self-promoter. And question 5, I can be center field, also known as gold glove outfielders.
Are these not straight up and it's from Bombeck?
Wow.
I gave you the straight up.
No, I know. It's great.
He's
Thought
adapting.
I didn't like it, but it was my muse were those lyrics from.
Here it is. You know what? The Evolution of Bombeck is the title of this.
You're always going to get. You will always get what the actual
Well, of course. We
categories are.
Yes.
No, we don't always get that from people.
I do.
I've always done it, yeah.
So it is now time for the teams to place their wagers. All right, the wagers are in, so let's get on to the questions. Question 1, in Put Me In Coach. What Boston Celtic was the first back-to-back winner of the NBA Sixth Man of the Year award from 1983 to 1985?
And we're going to check in, Josh.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out and let me know your answer and your wager.
Scott, rule of trivia. The
Go with
first
your
one that
first
came to your
instinct?
mind. Yeah. So that's the first one you said. I say we go with it.
They've had a lot of good bench players, so it's tough, especially in the
Yeah.
80s. McHale was off the bench. DJ was off the bench at times. Bill Walton. But he didn't win back.
Yeah, like I did that list before, so I've
Yeah.
looked at this list, and I don't ever remember seeing Dennis Johnson's name.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, we're going to check in for 100 points with Kevin McHale.
All right, what's Daniel Stern's checked in for 100 points with Kevin McHale. And not related to Keith Jackson, what's your answer and how much did you wager?
We wagered 60. We were going back and forth between DJ and Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge might have been a little bit later. We checked in with Danny Ainge.
I like the McHale answer though, because he he'd left the U in '79, and that would make him like 3 or 4 years in at '82. So that's why I think McHale's the right answer now. But we checked in with Danny Ainge.
One team will be receiving points. The correct answer is Kevin McHale. 2 other players have won the award in back-to-back seasons. They are Detlef Schrempf from 1990 to 1992, and most recently Lou Williams from 2017 to 2019. So after
There's
the first
no
question,
need for a score update.
hey, they're nice and round numbers. Not over yet.
I understand the feeling, Matt.
It's not like
It's not
I'm
insurmountable.
just teasing. I'm just
No.
having fun.
so. The score currently is 700 to 400. It is not over yet.
No, it's not one of my games.
Question 2 in I'm Ready to Play. Within 1 hour, how long was the longest rain delay in Major League Baseball history?
Okay, we're gonna check in, Josh.
All right, not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. So what's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out and let me know your answer and wager.
So I know it was a White Sox game. I don't have the time.
Right.
But in order for it to be the longest, it's got to be something crazy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'd have to be, I would say, like probably more than 5 hours.
Yeah. So if it was say it was like a 1 p.m. game.
Right, and they started at like 8.
Yeah. So
That would make
and
sense.
when I was in Chicago in this past September, I was hoping they were going to do something like that, but it didn't happen. They just called the game and played it the next game. So whatever. So I missed it.
Yeah.
So I mean, that makes sense with the timing, 1 to 8.
Yeah, and
So
it gives us 6 and 8 as well,
Yeah. Unless you want to do,
which is more than 5.
unless you want to do 6.5, and then we'll get 5.5 to 7.5.
I don't know. I feel like it could be 8, so I maybe we should stay with 7.
All right. Let's go with 7 hours.
All right. For how many points?
100.
Big shocker. What's Stanley Stern up to? Checked in with 7 hours for 100 points. And now related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got for an answer, and how much did you wager?
Well, we first went with 4, but then we talked about it and went with 5. I just feel like anything longer than that, they would just call the game. And maybe you guys know this or not, but it's the home team that can delay the start of a game. But once the game starts, it's the umpires that make the call to delay the game. You guys probably know that. So we ended up checking in with 5 hours for 100 points.
They checked in with 5 hours for 100 points.
Let's all hope it's 6 hours.
One team will be getting points. The correct answer was 7 hours and 23 minutes.
Wow.
On August 12th, 1990, the White Sox, who were hosting the Rangers, waited that long before finally postponing a Sunday afternoon game without a pitch being thrown. Roughly 500 fans remained in the stands when the game was finally called off at 8:58 p.m. Then White Sox owner Jerry Reinsdorf, the weatherman kept saying it'd stop.
How pissed you got to be to sit there for 8 or 7 hours, whatever, and just no, yeah, we're not doing it.
Yeah,
So since the game hadn't started, the home team got to keep sitting on the delay.
Yeah.
Moving on to question 3 in today. Who scored the first touchdown of the 2020 NFL season on Thursday, September 10th?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, we can check in.
What's Daniel Stern up to is checked in, so not related to Keith Jackson. You guys can talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
I didn't watch it, so I'm going to leave this up to Mr. Matt.
Oh, geez. The only reason I think I know this because I was busy on Thursday. We were.
Didn't you have a Patreon?
Yeah,
meeting?
we had a Patreon
meeting.
So, the only reason I know this is because my brother texted saying something about David Johnson and how the what Eric?
Really?
Why are
He's
you
only reason
pointing
you know.
at
I
me?
told you during the meeting. I
was going to tell a
Never.
different story, but that's okay, Eric. You go ahead and tell me.
No, that's fine.
No, because my brother texted saying that the Houston Texans have 2 running backs whose name is David Johnson, and then what's the other guy's last name is Duke. So David Duke. I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know why it's funny. It's not funny at all. Okay, David Johnson is the answer that we checked in with.
For how many points?
100.
And what's Daniel Stern up to? What do you guys got?
He's on one of my fantasy teams, so I was pretty happy when he scored. It's David Johnson.
Correct answer is David Johnson. He scored a 19-yard run for the Houston Texans. Moving on to question 4 in Look at Me. Before Terrell Owens became an NFL Diva wide receiver, he played football, basketball, and ran track at what university?
You know that, Tim?
Yep.
We'll check in.
All right, now related to Keith Jackson is checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out. Let me know your answer and your wager.
You got it, Scott. It's just Chattanooga.
Just Chattanooga, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to check in for 100 points with Chattanooga.
Okay. What's Daniel Stern up to? Checking in with Chattanooga for 100 points. Not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
Tim doesn't look
Tim is
happy.
not happy.
I am just a rookie at this game. I thought for sure it was UTEP, Texas El Paso. I'm trying to think of who am I thinking of.
And how many points did you guys wager with UTEP?
We checked in with 100.
One team will be getting points. However, it is not just Chattanooga. The actual university is the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. But I will allow Chattanooga is for like the tournament and stuff. That is what they're referenced as.
I put it to Eric. I said UT Chattanooga in our chat.
Yes. So Owens played in the 1995 NCAA basketball tournament.
I'm going based on what the team is called.
He's also a 3-time NBA Celebrity Game MVP.
Art, I just looked up UTEP, like NFL alumni, and there's not anybody even close to it.
All right. So this question will determine if Eric can regain the high score in a game.
Also, it would be the first person to go from 0 in a game to
over 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Question 5 in I Can Be Center Field. In 1957, the first year of the award, Gold Gloves were given to the top outfielders across Major League Baseball instead of separate awards for each league. Name 2 of the 3 outfielders who were recognized as Gold Glove outfielders that year. Hint, 2 of these players are in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, sorry. We're checked in.
Okay, not related to Keith Jackson is checked in. What's Daniel Stern up to? You guys can talk it out. Let me know your answers and your wager.
Did I get that, Eric? Is that?
Yeah, no. Once you type that, because like I said, I've looked at this list before.
Yeah, as soon as you told me the team, that was I knew it.
Yeah. So like I was sitting here writing them out, and I have like Nellie Fox.
I was gonna type that to you,
but he was infield, and right. Willie Mays. And then there's also a guy Shantz. But then I was spacing on the other ones. But no, once you typed that out, it made sense. It popped it back in.
All right. So for 100 points and the record, we are checking in with Willie Mays and Al Kaline.
All right. What's Daniel Stern up to? Checking in with Willie Mays and Al Kaline for 100 points. Not related to Keith Jackson. What do you guys got?
We thought about it too. A lot of great names. We thought Stan Musial, DiMaggio, but he, like Matt corrected me, that he probably retired in the 50s, and Ted Williams wasn't a great fielder. So the first one we came up with was Willie Mays.
And then I said Al Kaline, I'm pretty certain of. And I think the third one might be that Minnie Manuso. But we just checked in with Kaline and Mays.
So Al Kaline, by the way, the only guy named after a battery.
Are you sure there wasn't a Johnny Duracell back then?
How many
points? If you spell it out, look at it.
Did you guys say how many
for
points?
100.
For 100. Well, the correct answers are Minnie Minoso, who technically is in the Hall of Fame. He's in the Mexican Baseball Hall of Fame. Willie Mays and Al Kaline. So points all around. Mays was a 12-time recipient, Kaline a 10-time recipient, and Minoso a 3-time recipient.
Does Al Kaline fall into the Bombeck realm of death? Because didn't he die just last year?
Boy, yeah.
This isn't a me realm of death.
But I like that. Let's keep on
I
going.
love how
with
you're
that.
blamed for it. Yeah.
I actually haven't had any. It was on a different podcast.
The Bombeck Deadpool or something.
I like it. Yeah.
It's the Benchwarmer Deadpool.
Yeah, that's bad.
Benchwarmer Deadpool.
We're going with it.
All right.
Bombeck pool
The
of
game
death.
has come to an end. Here are the final scores. With a respectable 400 points, not related to Keith Jackson. And our clipboard captains of the game, who are receiving the coveted Dan Orlovsky Award with a new record, 1,100 points, is What's Daniel Stern Up To?
Asterisk on this one though. New round format means an asterisk, so it doesn't count.
No.
Yeah.
It's in the rotation.
Tough. No, it's just gonna have to be asterisked. So everything before this episode counts 100%. Everything afterwards,
Oh yeah.
160 to 157, 158 games to 162 doesn't count. Asterisk, man. Asterisk.
This is Dan breaking in one more time just to say, yeah, Matt Doherty, I agree with you. Asterisk. Back to the show.
We're officially out of the dead ball era. We're now into
the dead ball.
We're into the juice ball era.
Yeah.
Not even the live ball.
These weren't regular fruit snacks.
All right. So, is there anything you guys would like to say before we call it a day?
Well, I had a lot of fun, Matt, I made some rookie mistakes. Sorry to let you down, but I really had a lot of fun today, and would love to be back again sometime. And I think my team name will be Josh, Who Just Died. And I don't know if you caught it, but I think next week's theme should be all about Lou Brock.
Oh no! Poor Lou Brock.
Hey, I wasn't even on the episode that mentioned Kelly Preston, so that was the first one, and that's not
true.
my fault.
Matt started it. That's
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but Josh, you crossed podcasts to kill somebody.
Oh yeah, who did I?
Chadwick Boseman.
Oh yeah,
that's
Chadwick
right, yeah.
Boseman. Oh, that's on my trivialities. That's right. Yeah.
Well, so
And
I
technically,
mean, spoiler alert.
I think Eric, you wrote the Tom Seaver question.
I did.
So, but technically, I think I said his name first when I was coming up with possible answers.
And you didn't even pick his name, so there you
No.
go.
Kelly Preston
no.
wasn't even a part of the question. I just happened to reference that movie that she was in with.
That's true.
So,
Have we had a Lou Brock question yet? Has anyone used
well,
him?
he was in one of my
pre and
Dean's
post?
Yeah, we
lists
had
for stolen bases.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or-
Yep.
I think he was in a pre and post game too.
Oh,
Lou Brock Lesnar. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Lou Brock Lesnar. that'd
So
be a
we
good one.
need to stop this. This
It's gonna happen.
good.
It's not
It can
nothing
at
we can
this
do about it.
point.
People die. It's amazing how that works.
Father Time's undefeated.
Yeah, but we're speeding up the clock on some of these people.
It's a pandemic. It's expected.
That's
Hey, if I had any idea that Chadwick Boseman had been suffering for 4 years with cancer, I maybe wouldn't have used him as I probably. It was a good
didn't know
question.
that,
So
yeah.
it was. Hey,
Hey, it's-
It is amazing that for a celebrity keep it that quiet for that long. That is pretty amazing.
yeah.
and
It
keep
is.
working.
And
So
He was still working the entire
Yeah.
time.
So Tim, thank you for joining us. I enjoy when I get to have a little more Minnesota centric questions.
A little.
Hey, and by the way, you guys did just fine. So zip
yeah,
it.
exactly.
I think
All
we did.
this
I think we did
entertaining.
better
I'm
than
gonna
just fine.
I'm going to deduct 40 points.
Yeah.
Get you down to
41, yeah.
1060.
No, this was a lot of fun. This was more enjoyable than I thought going into this Minnesota Golden Gophers hockey game. My expectations were a little low, but it was fun, and we broke a record, so I'm happy about that. And I didn't score 0, so I can't complain.
Eric broke a record.
What? No way.
No
way.
No, honestly, I give Scott a lot of credit for this one too. I would never have got L K-line. I just the guys I had, the information I had would get the answer out of Scott. So
I was just busting his chops. Come on, you
Unlike-
know I love him.
I worked hard for
Unlike
this one.
Matt, who cost me the game.
After this one gets released, I have a feeling that we're going to have some Sinister Six people wanting to come back to because we had 3 of them who were or actually 4, including Dan, who were tied at 1070. So Scott Barber, Wesley Wells, Dan Lundberg, and Philip Sanford, you guys have been topped. Feel free to come back and try to beat 1100. Thanks for listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. And until next time, we'll keep the bench warm.
That ball hit high and deep. Stretch! Get on back there. They look up. You can put it on the board. Yes!
Into deep left center for Mitchell. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
That great music you're listening to is by Justin Nozick. Thanks to him for producing that music for us. You've been listening to the Benchwarmers Trivia Podcast. Make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We are at Benchwarmers TP.